Hello everyone and welcome to the latest research news. When it comes to coronavirus, how effective are face shields? Well, according to a new study published in the prestigious medical journal JAMA Network, they are quite effective. So this study is based on a small sample size. It only includes 62 participants, but the results are quite striking, and at the very least, this research is a good preliminary first step into studying the effectiveness of face shields. So this study took place in India and included 62 health workers. These health workers were visiting the households of where at least one resident had been infected with the virus. They had to go and speak to the other members of the household and tell them about things such as quarantine measures, hygiene when it comes to coronavirus, symptoms of the virus, social distancing, and etc. So these 62 health workers, they all stayed in different hostels. They had no interaction with their community or family or anybody really. When they went and made the visits, they kept their distance as much as possible. During the first 10-day period, out of the 62 health workers, 12 of them got infected. Once these 12 got infected, they stopped the house visits for 3 days before resuming again, but this time they added face shields to the health workers' equipment, to their gear. So their gear before included everything such as face masks, gloves, and shoe covers, but they did during the first initial 10 days, they didn't have face shields. But after removing the 12 who had gone infected, the 50 remaining health workers resumed their house visits, but this time they added face shields to their protective equipment gear. And interestingly, although they visited far more homes, because the second period of the study included 6 weeks, whereas the first initial phase was just restricted to 10 days. So within 6 weeks after adding face shields to their protective equipment, not one single health worker got infected. So it went from 12 out of 62 getting infected to 0 getting infected. And of course, the researchers are quite certain that the infections happened during the house visit because not only, as I mentioned, every health worker had their own hostel room. They all stayed in separate hostel rooms. They all had their own dedicated van where there was a barrier between the driver and the passenger, and they had all been tested about 2 to 3 days before the start of the study, and none of them had tested positive. So as I mentioned, this is quite a small study with a small sample size, but the results are striking. Out of 62 without face shields, 12 got infected, whereas when the remaining 50 introduced face shields to their protective equipment, none of them got infected, even though they visited far more homes and it was for a longer period. So that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and watching the video. If you liked the content, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you all next time.